Hi everyone, Arnold here, santamuertemagic.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. The topic of today's video is free will in the tradition of Santa Muerte. The inspiration for this video comes from one specific comment that I received to the website, and just so everyone understands the context under which I'm making this video, I want to read from the comment directly. So this is the message I received. How does free will coincide with being a devotee? The reason I'm asking is because I think she's upset with me, talking about Santa Muerte, because I'm still seeing my ex-boyfriend who can be very possessive and controlling. He isn't all bad and is going to therapy, but I think Madrina is upset with me. Then the writer of the comment went on to describe seeing some negative signs around her altar, having a negative dream of Santa Muerte, and begging Santa Muerte for forgiveness. The writer continued, I'm very confused. I want to respect Santa Muerte, but I don't want to give up completely on this person that I still love. Do you think she is angry with me, or is this just my own fear in my own head? And that's the end of the message. So, what does the tradition of Santa Muerte have to say about free will? So far as I know, nothing. The tradition of Santa Muerte is not one with a defined set of rules or beliefs or dogmas, nor is there a defined leadership who can issue decrees or statements of belief. Every relationship with Santa Muerte is as unique as the devotees who walk the path of Santa Muerte devotion, which is why you will no doubt find devotees with their own ideas about free will, but those ideas are injected into their devotion from the outside. Those ideas are not organic to their devotion. If you want to know what I think about free will, whether or not we have it at all, I agree with the late Christopher Hitchens. I have no choice but to believe that I have free will. I do not feel as if I am being controlled by an outside force. I do not feel as if I have been programmed by a cosmic programmer, so that is how I have to live my life. I act as if I have free will because I have no other choice but to act that way. To get back to that message I received, the message I read at the start of the video, I don't think the writer of that message was talking about free will in the sense of, are we puppets of Santa Muerte? I think the writer of that message was referring to free will more in the sense of, if I do something that I think Santa Muerte will not like, will I be punished? So even if I am free to make my own decisions, free to make my own bad decisions, will Santa Muerte punish me or hurt me if I go through with my bad decisions? To this I have two responses. First of all, Santa Muerte is known to not pass judgment, which is why we are able to ask her to grant petitions even for wishes that society and mainstream religion might label as taboo or outright wrong. Second, to me, the concept of anger and revenge and punishment are all very human ideas, and I don't think a force as powerful as death, which accepts us all and which does not judge, would engage with emotions as petty and as human as anger or revenge. So do I think Santa Muerte will punish you for doing something that she does not like? I don't think anything we do moves Santa Muerte one way or the other. A force that does not pass judgment on what we wish has no reason to pass judgment on how we act. Now, I've often described the energy of Santa Muerte as a grandmother type of energy. Like any good grandmother who loves us for who we are without judgment, I do not think it is out of the realm of possibility to imagine Santa Muerte, just like a frustrated grandmother, sometimes throwing up her hands and letting us experience the consequences of our own actions, especially when we actively contradict our own intent. And what I mean by when we actively contradict our own intent, I mean when we wish for one thing, but then do things that actively work against what we are wishing for. Let me bring it back to the writer of that comment from the beginning of this video. She said she is basically sticking with a man who is a negative influence. She also described herself as a devotee of Santa Muerte. Well, what does Santa Muerte mean? If you read my second book, Santa Muerte Devotion 101, you'll remember that I explain the many meanings of the word Santa. In Spanish, Santa can mean saint, it can mean holy, but albeit less commonly, it can also mean good, as in preferable. So when we say that we are devoted to Santa Muerte, one thing we are saying is we are devoted to a good death, the best or most preferable death for us. The paths we walk as devotees of Santa Muerte are paths to each of our own individual deaths. We will all die differently. We will all die in different places, under different circumstances, and at different times. But if you are a devotee of death, then it means that you are wishing for the best possible death that you can get. And one aspect of a good death, of the best possible death for you, is a death that comes at the end of a life fulfilled, at the end of a life enjoyed. So going back to the message from earlier, the devotee who thinks Santa Muerte is upset with her for keeping a negative man in her life, do I think Santa Muerte is actually mad? No, because that would require a passing of judgment, and Santa Muerte does not judge. What I think is more likely is that this negative man is pulling this devotee off the path that would lead to her best possible death. In other words, off the path of living her best possible life. So, will she be punished for straying off the path of her best possible life? I don't think so, not if we have free will, and we have no choice but to act as if we have free will. But the negative signs around her altar, the negative dream of Santa Muerte, may all be signs that this devotee is contradicting her own intent. I do not think they are signs of anger from Santa Muerte, but they may very well be warning signs that unless this person gets clear with herself and with her intent, then Santa Muerte may have no choice but to throw up her hands and say, the consequences will be what the consequences will be. You devote yourself to me, you devote yourself to death, which means you wish for the best possible life you can get, and then, apparently of your own volition, you keep a negative person in your life who may very well pull you off the path of living your best possible life. The consequences will be what the consequences will be. With that, I think I'll start wrapping up the video. Basically, I have no choice but to believe I have free will. I do not think Santa Muerte punishes us for our actions, because that would require a passing of judgment, and Santa Muerte does not judge. Also, anger and revenge are very human emotions that I do not think a force as powerful as Santa Muerte even needs to engage with. That being said, I do think it is possible that if we wish for one thing and then act against our own wishes, I think it's possible for you to leave Santa Muerte with no choice but to say, much like a frustrated grandmother might say, you know, kiddo, I think you're sending a lot of mixed signals. I think you don't even know what you want, and if you don't know what you want, then I don't know how to help you. And what will be, will be. As always, I hope I've explained everything clearly, but please get in touch if you have any questions. You can reach me through the contact form on the website. There's also the Patreon Messenger system and the Discord chat server. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time. Bye.